What a playoff series it has been between the Warriors and the Nuggets. Back and forth they battled, and it was the Dubs who went away with the win in Game 1 and 2 after consecutive scoring explosions from playoff first-timer Jordan Poole. The veterans shook a little rust, and the young guys joined in the end. They are looking great recently and playing at the level we are accustomed to. Today's video will be about why the Golden State Warriors are looking like legit contenders again. Let's start with the old guys. Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, Andre Iguodala, and Kevon Looney played in the same game for the first time since the 2019 Finals nearly 3 years ago. Thompson hit 5 important threes in Game 1, Iguodala played his trademark defense, Curry had a rusty shooting streak to begin the game after missing some time but finished the game well, and Looney hustled for rebounds and attacked the paint. Before we begin today, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more amazing content. If you have any similar or different ideas why the Golden State Warriors are looking great again, hit the comment section, as I would love to hear your opinion. Let's keep rolling. The vintage performance from the mainstays was overshadowed by the electricity of playoff newcomer Jordan Poole, who dazzled his way to 30 points on 9 for 13 shooting, including 5 of 7 from three-point range in Game 1. The 30 points tied Mitch Richmond for the highest total for any Warrior in his playoff debut besides Wilt Chamberlain. He followed this up in Game 2 with another astounding performance, pouring in 29 points. Poole's development has been on display since the second half of last season and went to a new level in the past month and a half, but players with greater resumes have melted to the point of dissolution under the brightest lights. Poole passed his test with flying colors, as he's done since last postseason's play-in games, and credited his reliable veterans for smoothing transition to playoff basketball. Surely, the Warriors won't conflate Poole's play with Curry's credentials as a 3-time NBA champion, 2-time regular season MVP, and the NBA's greatest shooter of all time. He offered the latest example of his ongoing development during his 3rd NBA season. Jordan Poole? Wow, what a playoff debut, Thompson said. All his hard work is paying off. If he doesn't get Most Improved Player this year, it doesn't make any sense. Without him, we would not be where we are. Poole wasn't the only new face to make an impact either. Gary Payton II has put up respectable numbers, while playing his usual brand of suffocating defense. Nemanja Bjelica was as aggressive offensively as he's been all season, scoring 8 points in 15 minutes in Game 1 and 10 points on 5 of 6 shooting in Game 2. With the game in hand in the fourth quarter of Game 1, rookies Jonathan Kuminga and Moses Moody checked in to wet their playoff feet. Both played important roles at different points during the regular season, and they'll likely eventually be called upon during big playoff moments. It's incredibly difficult to sustain winning in the NBA, even with the best players in the world on your payroll. The Warriors know this as well as anyone, missing the playoffs in each of the past 2 seasons amid injury problems and roster changes. The Warriors' quest to win an NBA championship after toiling once in the NBA Draft Lottery 2020 and once in the NBA's Play-In Tournament 2021 presumably will hinge on the familiar characters with Curry, Thompson, Draymond Green, and Andre Iguodala. It does not seem like a stretch to say that the Warriors would not have won Game 1 if not for Poole's play. After Poole started in the 12 games Curry missed because of a bone bruise and torn ligament in his left foot, Warriors coach Steve Kerr kept Poole in the starting lineup. He has set career highs in points per game, 18.5, assists, 4.0, as well as shooting from the field, 44.8%, three-point range, 36.4%, and free throw shooting, 92.5%. Here's the kicker. Poole initially had the ball in his hands at Curry's expense. The Warriors featured Curry off the bench on a minutes restriction, 22, in hopes to ease his workload after not playing in an NBA game in about a month. That might be a tough ask for Curry to accept because of his credentials, but he admittedly felt willing and comfortable with the arrangement, partly because of Poole's presence. Not to mention, Curry looked his usual self in Game 2, scoring 34 points, shooting an incredibly efficient 70.6%. The Warriors found Poole just as receptive to refining his shooting and improving his defense. They appreciated that Poole took criticism without taking it personally, while also showing enough confidence to challenge his coaches and teammates in hopes to improve. They also observed that Poole extended his workouts after practices and at night, both after strong and poor performances. No wonder Kerr has a difficult decision to make fairly soon. No doubt, Curry will eventually reclaim his starting spot once the Warriors' medical staff becomes encouraged with how Curry's left foot has held up. Perhaps it happens sooner rather than later. To Poole's credit, he has not questioned his evolving starting and reserve roles. He started for nearly half the season until Thompson's return after nearly a 2.5-year absence. Poole's minutes fluctuated afterward based on Thompson's availability on back-to-backs. Poole then experienced a promotion during Curry's absence. Do not expect Poole to complain anytime soon. In his playoff debut, Golden State's third most important player exploded for 30 points on just 13 shots. He nailed 5 threes and attacked the basket on speedy drives and cuts, elevating the sport's most aesthetically pleasing system as it simultaneously propped him up. Denver had no answer for Poole in either of these two playoff games, who, since March 1, has averaged 24.7 points and 5.4 assists, while making 41.9% of his 9.7 threes per game. In other words, he's been an all-star. But both games have also kicked off something even more important, the most complex, highbrow individual matchup in basketball. A confrontation between two brilliant forces of nature who hadn't competed against each other in 358 days. Nikola Jokic versus Draymond Green. The chess match between these two have helped dictate these two games so far and may even decide the series, but Green has remained self-aware and humble. Of course, it takes multiple players to slow Jokic down, just as cohesive teamwork is necessary to punish Green and Golden State's number 2 defense. But the awareness of these two stars had for each other was palpable throughout the series' opening 48 minutes, whether Green was battling the reigning MVP in the post, tracking him off screens, or guarding him directly in pick-and-rolls. He also monitored the action from afar, shrinking the floor and attempting to short-circuit Jokic's intentions. Green had the following to say after Game 1. "I feel like he's going to try to come out and give me 40 points, 15 rebounds, and 15 assists next game," Green said. "He's pissed off, and he's coming back with a vengeance tomorrow." While Jokic didn't exactly have that type of monster game, he did put up a respectable stat line of 26 points, 11 rebounds, and 4 assists. Draymond Green spent the 2021-22 season admittedly struggling with returning from a lower back injury that sidelined him for a combined 32 games in the middle of the season. But after spending the Warriors' final 10 of 12 regular season games ramping up his workload on a minutes restriction, Green has since felt more comfortable in a more familiar setting. For the first time since the Warriors appeared in the 2019 NBA Finals, Green made his playoff return in Game 1 against Denver. Once Green stepped onto the court, no longer did he have to be quiet. He could be loud. Green roared, both to give the Warriors an emotional spark and to give himself a therapeutic release. But after both experiencing elation and sorrow through 3 NBA championships and 2 finals losses, Green hardly feels comfortable with his next assignment. So far, however, the Warriors and Green have been able to handle Jokic and the Nuggets. The Warriors had an amazing start to the playoffs and are looking like their championship selves. If they continue playing like this, they are a sure candidate to reach the conference finals, and maybe the finals as well. And what's your opinion? How far will they make it this year? Can they stay healthy after not having their complete roster for most of the season? Can they beat the Denver Nuggets and contend for the title? I would love to hear back from you, so hit the comment section and let me know what you think.